Hello and welcome to this session of product design and value engineering. In today's session, we want to cover some basic aspect of product design which might not seem technical, but they are very important considerations while designing product and they are ignored by many. And those who ignore this may face very severe consequences in later stages. We'll discuss all of them one by one. First, we want to discuss about some legal factors of which are related to product design. What legal factors we want to discuss? We want to discuss trademarks. What do you mean by trademarks? Trademarks are the intellectual property of different companies in which they have registered themselves that they are only able to use this particular logo or this particular design. So we should try to identify all the trademarks that are there and we never use those trademarks. If you use some trademark in your product or in your brand name, you may face legal factor, you may face some legal actions from those brands. For example, this Tata Pipes is trademark of Tata company. You cannot use these words or this logo in your brand. If you try to use it, then you will surely face some legal action by Tata and it will be financially very disturbing for you. Then there will be patent protection laws. So you should not steal some other people's design. For example, Apple will have some design of their own that they have come up with. Now, if some other companies try to steal the design from Apple or they try to copy the Apple's design, then Apple will surely file a legal case against them and they will have to pay some financial penalty or some legal actions will be taken against them. So this should be considered that we should not use trademarks of other people's. Also, we should not use patented designs of others as well. Also, there will be copyrights. Copyrights are normally associated with the books or some literature. So, if you are producing some literature or some books, make sure that you do not use someone else's copyrighted content. Also, if you are making some user manuals or some guidelines, then also you have to make sure that you do not use someone else's copyrighted content. So these are the legal factors that are associated with your product design. Also, there will be some social factors which are associated with your product design. What social factors are there? There is rules regarding FDI. We will discuss all this in detail. But FDI is foreign direct investment. So keep that in mind. There will be rules or restrictions to impose to protect the domestic industries. So the government will restrict import of some product to make sure that the domestic products are supported. Then there will be some banned products due to political reasons only, or there can be some banned products due to religious reasons. First, let us discuss rules regarding FDI or foreign direct investment. Now, what do you mean by foreign direct investment? In our country, some investors recharge of some other countries are investing, and what will happen is that if those companies are investing too much in our Indian market, then they will control the Indian market, and their primary motive will be to generate large amount of profit. Now they will not think about the conditions of the people in India or the conditions in the of the peoples that are working nearby location of their plant. So this foreign direct investment should be monitored and they should be regulated to make sure that the decisions that are taken by the companies should be of Indian companies only, such that they understand the conditions of Indian people and they can act according to it. The other thing is restrictions on imports due to product to protect our domestic products. For example, there will be some countries which can produce or manufacture very cheap products. But in India, we are also producing some same products. If our cost of production, although our quality will be high, if our cost is high to produce those products, then people will tend to buy the imported goods which are of less or limited or low cost, and it will be bad for our local producer. It will discourage the local producer and it will harm our economy because the Indian money is going in some foreign country. So it will harm the Indian economy. To make sure that this doesn't happen, and the local people, local producers get benefited. There will be some restrictions on import, the amount of products you can import, or the number of products you can import from the outside countries. And these restrictions will be given by the government itself. Then there will be some products which are banned due to political reasons. For example, in past, sometimes we have seen that Indian and Chinese borders are facing some issues, and for that we are boycotting the Chinese goods. If the government decides to ban these products, or if even the people decides to ban these products, then the reason behind the banning of these products is purely political, because there is some politics going on between those two countries, and due to this politics we are banning some products, and there will be banned due to some religious reasons. For example, in India, McDonald's is not selling beef patty. Why? Because Indians have some sentiments related to cow, and they do not want to violate this cow religions. So they are not selling these products which might hurt sentiments of some people. So these are banned due to religious reasons only. Then we want to talk about this concept of engineering ethics. What do you mean by engineering ethics? Engineering ethics is nothing but, according to this definition of National Society of Professional Engineers, engineering ethics is nothing but fulfillment of professional duties by engineers such that health, safety, and welfare of public should be shared, hold paramount. So, by definition, engineers in the fulfillment of their professional duties shall hold paramount the safety, health, and welfare of the public. So, as the it is duty of engineers to fulfill their job, the safety and health of public should be of utmost importance for engineers, and these ethical practices should be followed. We can see many examples of engineering ethics, and we will discuss few of them here also. But let us consider what do we mean by engineering ethics clearly. So, we should avoid the products that harm society. This is the first criteria of engineering ethics. There should not be any products which should be produced by engineers which harms society. When we are designing products, we should make sure that our product does not harm anyone. Then we should focus on sustainable development. We should not produce some products which we know that it will impact the environment very badly, and it will have a bad effect in the long run on the environment. We should avoid producing such products. We should change our design to make sure that our products are more of a sustainable type, which affect less on environment, or we should make some changes such that the effect on environment should be reduced. Then when you are producing when you are planting a big plant, or even if you are going with a small manufacturing unit, you should make sure that you are providing employment opportunity to locals. Because if you are making a big plant somewhere, then you are also affecting the lives of locals around it. You are polluting, you are emitting so much amount of polluting airs or polluting gases in the air. You are using the resources around them, and to compensate that, you should make sure that those are employed. And you should also consider the environmental effect on the nearby locality due to your products. Also, if we talk about the examples of engineering ethics, we might see that many times many car manufacturing companies recalls their vehicles. So Maruti Suzuki recently recalled their vehicle, including Ciaz and Ertiga. Why? Because there was some environmental effect which was occurring there, and there were some faulty parts which need to be changed. So they recalled all the cars and they gave the new cars and replaced all the faulty components. So this is an example of engineering ethics. If you find that okay, there was mistake on my side and I have to somehow correct it. So no matter what the cost is, you should correct it. It will also help you to gain the confidence of your customers in a long run. Also, there are some things which we need to consider while we talk about engineering ethics. The first one is whistleblowing. If you are working in a very large for example, some very big company, and you come across some unethical practice which the company is doing, then what should you do? You should report these unethical practices to the authority, because it is your duty as an engineer to follow the ethical practice such that people should not get harmed. So if you know that these practices will in the long run harm some people, then you should report such activities, and this is known as whistleblowing. When you report your organization for some unethical practices. Also, there is some legal compliance by clients and contractors. So you might come across some of your clients are not following the some government policies, or some of your clients are doing some unethical practices. So you should make sure that you report them, and you should make sure that your clients are legally bound to ensure that they also follow some ethical practices. Then you should avoid bribery and kickbacks, which may or may not include some gifts, meals, service, or entertainment. So, if you are working in an organization, and if someone from some another organizations offers you some of these gifts or meals, you should avoid them, because it will be unethical to accept them. Because once you accept them, they might ask you to do some favors which will be unethical. So always try to avoid those things, and always make sure that you treat your confidential or proprietary information very confidentially, very secretively, and you do not share those information with others. If you are working in an organization which have some patent, or which have some design which they are planning to patent, then you should not disclose those design. Also, you should respect the non-disclosure agreements that are done by you while joining an organization, or while you were at a particular organization. So all these things will come under engineering ethics. While we talk about legal compliance, you should also make sure that, which we do not say very often, that if you are subcontracting some of the things to some other contractors. For example, if you are a big manufacturer of fabricator of some steel product and you are subcontracting some of the part to some smaller companies, so you should also make sure that those smaller companies also pay their worker required for amount that is legally bound to the workers. So you should make sure that there is a term in your contract which legally forces the contractor to pay the amount, the minimum amount which should be paid to workers. This is also part of engineering ethics, but we see that many companies do not follow this, and many companies simply gives the subcontracts only to exploit the contracting employees. This is very unethical. It should be avoided. Then there will be some social related issues while designing the products as well. For example, if you think that different countries, if you are a global manufacturer, then different countries will have different cultures, and they will have different lifestyle, and they need some different features. For example, if you are a global car manufacturer and you are manufacturing cars in for India also, and you are selling your cars in Europe, Canada, and USA also, then when you are manufacturing your car, your primary concern when you are designing the air conditioning for India is to provide the air conditioner which gives you cooling, because in India it is already very hot. But when you are designing an air conditioning system for Europe or Canada or say USA, then your primary focus should be to make an air conditioning system which gives heating, because they are already cold there. There is most of the time there will be facing snow, so they need heating applications more. So this is what we think about while designing product, because different countries, different societies will have different needs. Then you should also consider the units that you are giving in your product. For example, if you are a global manufacturer and you in your speedometer you give unit in kilometers, then it is fine for India. But in America, they understand the miles. So for India, you have to give units in kilometer. For USA, you have to give units in miles. Also, when we are renaming your branding your cars, you have to think about the name and what the name will mean in the culture. For example, there is a car called Mazda Laputa. Now we do not know what Mazda Laputa means. So for that, it is a very strange name. But for some other country, it is a very familiar name. Now, if you take some name from a country and you give the name same for the entire world, it may happen that for some of the countries, for some of the culture, this Mazda Laputa may be very offensive, and you do not want that. So you have to make sure that the brand name or branding you are doing is appropriate for the different cultures. And you should think about availability of raw materials, because you should also think about the environment in which your production facility is. There should be enough raw materials in nearby society, and beliefs of local should be considered while you are designing or you are setting up your factories. For example, Gujarat. In Gujarat, if you want to set up a meat factory, then it will be a very bad decision. It can turn out to be a bad decision because most of the people in Gujarat are vegetarians, and most of the people in Gujarat believes that animals should not be harmed. So meat factory in Gujarat might be a bad idea. So these are all the things that need to be considered other than technical aspects while designing products. I hope you have understood all these aspects because you will be designing your products at some stage, or you will be giving some inputs in the design. And I hope this will be helpful to you. Okay, that will be all. Thank you.